When most people think of dinosaurs, they usually picture them in tropical jungles, sandy deserts, dense forests, and swampy areas. This common image comes from the idea that the Mesozoic era was much hotter and wetter than today. While this was true for many regions during that time, the reality is that the climate was much more seasonal than commonly believed, with significant temperature drops near the poles. Fascinatingly, scientists have found evidence showing that dinosaurs managed to adapt to even the most hostile corners of our planet, including the Arctic and Antarctic circles. So which species inhabited these harsh regions, and what was the secret of these so-called polar dinosaurs? Although once considered impossible, scientists have discovered dinosaur fossils across a wide range of extreme latitudes. Today, Alaska stands as North America's last wild frontier, characterized by towering mountains, glaciers, and expansive coniferous forests, a landscape that feels like an entirely different world. Back in the Cretaceous period, this region would have appeared somewhat familiar. Despite being farther north, Alaska experienced slightly warmer temperatures than today, resulting in the absence of large polar ice caps. Yet its prehistoric inhabitants still faced harsh conditions, enduring up to 120 days of total darkness during winter. At that time, these ancient lands were reigned by Nanosaurus, a smaller relative of T. rex, whose name literally translates to polar bear lizard. Although more modest in size compared to its cousin, the animal still exhibited typical tyrannosaur-like traits, including a muscular body and powerful jaws. But Nanosaurus wasn't alone. The ecosystem also supported smaller predators like Dromaeosaurus and Saurornitholestes, along with the infamous Alaskan troodontids, small theropod dinosaurs named after the now invalid genus Troodon. Naturally, these predators shared their environment with herbivores, such as the armored notosaurid Edmontonia, a polar Edmontosaurus, and Pachyrhinosaurus, known for its distinctive adornments that lack the long horns typical of larger ceratopsians. However, the prehistoric Alaska wasn't the only place to host cold-adapted dinosaurs. On the opposite side of the globe, dinosaurs also found ways to survive in challenging conditions. Earth's constantly shifting continents mean that the climates where fossils are found today were once drastically different. During the Mesozoic era, Antarctica was located much closer to the equator, and while Australia now resides in the tropics, it was positioned further south within the Antarctic Circle at that time. This geographical placement meant the region also experienced 1 to 4 months of darkness during winters, and despite a climate somewhat warmer than today, similar to Alaska, winters could still be harsh with ice, snow, and freezing temperatures during the long nights. The landscape at the South Pole was dominated by conifers, cycads, and ferns, vegetation that relied heavily on temperate climates and heavy rainfall. However, there is speculation that parts of the area may have been permanently covered by ice throughout the year, potentially leading to food shortages for its inhabitants. The mix of dinosaurs inhabiting the Antarctic Circle during the Mesozoic era was remarkable, but studying them is challenging due to the poor preservation of remains from this region. Among those identified, the most diverse groups were ornithischian dinosaurs such as Lalinosaura, Morosaurus, Trinosaura, and the larger rhabdodontomorph Mutaburosaurus, as well as ankylosaurs such as Kunbarasaurus and Antarctopelta, the first dinosaur discovered in Antarctica. One of the most iconic dinosaurs from this region is the predatory Cryolophosaurus, a medium-sized theropod from the early Jurassic, easily distinguished by its unique cranial crest, likely used for intraspecies recognition, one of the largest theropods of its time. In the later Cretaceous period, the Antarctic Circle was also home to a large Paravian dinosaur named Imperobator. Standing at 2 meters tall, this predator was comparable in size to large dromaeosaurs like Utahraptor, However, large dinosaurs were rare in these polar regions, as most tended to be smaller, exemplified by the complete absence of sauropods in these harsh environments. Paleontologists initially believed that dinosaur remains found in the Arctic were from species that migrated north during the summer and then moved south to escape the harsh winters. However, the discovery of hundreds of bones and teeth from dinosaur hatchlings in northern Alaska, representing 7 different dinosaur families, challenged this assumption. Considering the long incubation periods, short Arctic summers, and the small size of the hatchlings, it is very unlikely that these dinosaurs migrated south before winter set in. This significant discovery provides strong proof that some dinosaurs lived in the Arctic year-round. This is further supported by the fact that many of the species found in these regions have not been identified in rocks of the same age at lower latitudes. All this evidence suggests that dinosaurs not only survived, but thrived in these hostile conditions. But weren't dinosaurs reptiles? And reptiles, with few exceptions, struggle to survive outside tropical climates. So how did they manage to thrive in such environments? There likely wasn't only one way that dinosaurs adapted to the freezing temperatures near the poles. The debate over whether dinosaurs were endothermic or ectothermic has persisted for decades. Initially, they were thought to be ectothermic, cold-blooded, lacking the ability to generate their own body heat. However, polar dinosaurs challenged this view. If they were ectotherms, they would have faced difficulties maintaining activity in cooler climates. Paleontologists lean towards the belief that these dinosaurs were in fact endothermic, able to generate and regulate their own body temperature, a trait that would have been crucial for surviving in the harsh, freezing conditions. Yet being endothermic posed its own challenges. It required a substantially larger intake of food to sustain their metabolism, particularly problematic in such environments, especially for large animals like dinosaurs. However, polar dinosaurs appeared to have resolved this challenge by adapting to a smaller size compared to their counterparts in warmer regions. For instance, Pachyrhinosaurus, which typically grew larger elsewhere, evolved to become smaller in order to survive in the cooler lands of Alaska during times of scarce food. Perhaps the most intriguing and controversial adaptation, however, involves feathers. The question of whether dinosaurs had primitive feathers has sparked intense debate among paleontologists. Nowadays, supported by numerous pieces of evidence, we know that some species did indeed have some kind of feathering. And in such hostile conditions, where dinosaurs had to deal with snow and frostbite, it's plausible that their feathers served an insulating function, helping to keep them warm in the cold of high latitudes. The idea of polar dinosaurs is still relatively recent. The discovery of dinosaur fossils in these extreme environments challenges our traditional understanding of these ancient animals. It presents dinosaurs not just as inhabitants of lush prehistoric landscapes, but as adaptable and resilient creatures capable of surviving in some of Earth's most severe climates. Nevertheless, the ability to thrive in such harsh habitats demonstrates the remarkable flexibility and adaptability of dinosaurs, which likely played a key role in their evolutionary success, ultimately challenged by one of the most catastrophic events in our planet's history.